And welcome to the College of MVLS Postgraduate Talk Student Q&A. Can you all hear me okay? Our panel, can we get a thumbs up? Perfect. Thanks very much for joining us. We're joined today by some of our current College of MVLS postgraduate students, and they are here to answer any questions you might have about studying at the University of Glasgow within the College of MVLS and student life. They were once in a position that you are now, not so long ago, so hopefully they can share some useful information for you. If you've got any questions for our students, please pop them into the chat box and we'll do our best to get through all of them. If you've got any specific questions about accommodation or funding or your actual application, there are other sessions running throughout today that will be better suited to answering those questions. And you can find those sessions on the schedule on our website, and details are on the screen just now. If you've got any questions about any MVLS programs in particular, so the programs you're thinking of applying to, we're actually running some Ask Your Academic sessions starting at the end of April. 24th of April is the first one, and you can register for those now. There's still a couple of dates to be confirmed, but if you register your interest, we'll get in touch once they're all confirmed for you. And the details should be on the screen for you now. So we are just waiting one more student coming on, and I think we've got Matthew here. He was actually just running from a lecture. So I'm just going to add him to the stage for you all now. And there we go. So that's our panel today. So we have just under an hour on our session. So I'm going to run round, ask our panel to introduce themselves. So name, where you're from, and what program you're currently studying. So I'll just go round as I see the panel. So Yasmina, would you like to go first?
Sorry, okay. My name is Yasmina Abu Raila, and I'm studying master's degree in health, and I'm from Egypt.
Perfect. And Reem?
Can you hear me? Okay, my name is Reem Shafai, and I'm from Egypt too, and I'm studying master's in global mental health.
Perfect. And Matthew?
I'm Matthew, I'm from Scotland, and I'm studying Masters in Stem Cell Engineering for Regenerative Medicine.
Perfect. And Asta?
Hi, I'm Astha Kothari. I'm from India, and I'm doing a Master's in Biotechnology and Business Management.
Fab. So that's our panel. So we're with you for the next hour. So please do pop any questions into that chat box. So I suppose, first off, I'm just going to kick off the questions. Why did you choose the program you're studying? So you've all got different programs. So I'm going to go the opposite way around. So Asta, why did you choose to study biotechnology and management?
So initially, I thought that I was really interested in research, but after trying it out for my undergrad, I understood that I wanted a degree that was a bit more holistic. And I really wanted the people part and like interacting with people and collaboration part of biology. So I thought that a dual degree, which is both biotechnology and management, would be perfect for me.
Perfect. And Matthew?
I kind of went the exact opposite of the way Asta went, to be honest. My undergrad was very people focused, very patient focused, and I wanted a lot more sort of academic and research insights. That's why I chose to study stem cell engineering, to give me that sort of depth in both engineering and in cell biology.
Perfect. And Yasmina?
Okay, I'm a dentist. I was working at the Egyptian Ministry of Health, and many dentists just focus on the individual part, like patients, but I needed to have a perspective or a view on the whole community. So I was thinking that public health as developing path for dentists would be perfect for me. So I go through for public health. And also, I was interested in research and I wanted to go through more to know about research, not to be just a clinician. I wanted to have knowledge about being a clinician and even to be a researcher.
Perfect. And Reem?
Okay, a little background story about like my undergrad. I did my undergrad in medicine, so I'm a physician by like practice. I'm mainly a psychiatrist, and I did lots of work in the development field. I used to be an intern with UofG HQ in New York, and I have like my whole life was like between professional medicine and community and public health. And when I graduated, and when you look to the fact that 80% of the people living with mental health are living in low and middle income country, although we lack the resources and the human personnel to tackle those problems, which exaggerates the problem of the mental health with everything happening around the world. The intersectionality of all type of violence and stuff makes the problem even bigger. So I needed a program that kind of merged between my both passions, between psychiatry and public and mental health. So I will be like, as Yasmina has mentioned, much more than a physician. I'm having that perspective of community medicine and community-based services. So like trying to optimize the care I'm providing to my patients in such a vulnerable region in such low and middle income countries.
Well, thank you. All really nice answers there. In terms of the teaching style on campus, these are all on-campus programs. Are you actually attending all your lectures and seminars, etc., on campus, or is there any online distance learning aspect of it that you watch at home? I know that some classes you maybe watch a lecture and then go in for a tutorial and work on your lecture. How is that for your various programs? Matthew, we'll start with you this time.
So for me, by and large, it's all been very much in person sort of stuff. We've had like labs, which it's tricky to do a lab online. So yeah, and with lectures as well, occasionally some of them have been recorded, but I've generally just attended everything in person, so you can like speak to the lecturer afterwards and whatnot. So yeah, all in all, very in person.
Perfect. And Reem, what about yourself? Are you all online, all on campus? Bit of a mix?
So our methodology is merged between both. We do a lot of online stuff and offline stuff on campus, along with a lot of like learning materials through Moodle, which is like the platform where like all the materials are uploaded. We do a lot of self-study there. Also through the assessments, there's like it has a bit of like studying sense because sometimes the assessments include like new styles or something that you need to like dig deep to understand how to perform it. But the things that I really like, even the on campus study, is so unique and variable. It's not only like that form of lectures or even like hand-on work. There's a lot of variabilities. For example, last week we had a lecture with a human library, which is basically people comes to you, act like books, and you start to people that live with mental illness and other aspects related to mental illness laws and policies, and you start to talk with them as if they are books to know more about their background, what they need, how they wanted to whenever like to tackle their problem, what they are expecting and so on. And I found it so interesting because you read about those stuff in books all the time, but when you see the real people and you start to interact with them, it gives you very unique and perspective, and it make you a little bit more compassionate with you see the people out of the box of illness. You see them wholly as human being more than their illness, which makes you like whenever you think about like programs and intervention you want to provide, you think about that human part or personal part. So even on the on-campus lectures is very unique and diverse in the matter of the structure of it.
Thank you. And Asta?
So just like Matthew, most of my classes have also been offline because we have a lot of labs and it's quite tough to do it online. So yeah, even in my management sim, even though there were no labs, We had all of the number of hours were a lot less. So we would have about 1 to 2 hours of classes a day from like Monday to Thursday. But if it's more biotech or more bio-related courses, and if there are labs, it can go up to like 4 to 5 hours of classes a day. So it really depends, yeah.
Perfect. And Yasmina, what about your classes? Are you online, offline, a bit of a mix?
On campus. But there is something really interesting for me because it's not in the whole classes is not only in the main campus, but it's just I have a class on oral health, so it's in the dental school. So I feel like I can connect between public health and dental public health, and also sometimes um, uh, we can have some classes online, but it's not the usual. So I really found myself interested in face-to-face classes. So I have the opportunity to share my ideas. So really, we have this opportunity to share our ideas together with my classmates, because most of them from different cultures, from different countries. So I found this work. Even in our classes, it's not just focused about the professors. No, we can even join to the discussion together. So yeah.
Perfect. And we've got quite a lot of questions coming through on our chat box. So what I'll do is I'll maybe sort of group a couple of them together. So we've got people asking about jobs, maybe like research assistantships, etc. So in a more sort of general question, are any of you currently working alongside your study in sort of part-time work? Asta, what about yourself?
So yeah, I am working as a barista at part-time, and I'm also doing freelance research for a biotech company.
And Reem, what about you?
So basically, I'm not working like in the UK. I'm allowed to work like part-time on my visa, but I'm from like, again, my background, I'm a bit of activist in the MENA region. So I'm doing a lot of work related to research papers and like questionnaires and stuff related to the mental health issues in the region from where I come from, through different platforms I work with and multiple research study centers. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Thank you. Matthew, what about yourself?
So I tutor like high school students in biology and chemistry part-time for pay. I do that through like an online website, basically. So probably trickier if you're an international student, because you might have a different structure of course, and to work with children you need to get a PVG, which basically just says that you're safe to work with children. So if you're more local, then it's probably more applicable, I guess. And in my spare time, I also do some unpaid research work with one of the plastic surgeons located here in Glasgow.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. Yasmina, what about yourself? Have you got any part-time work?
Exact part-time job, because I'm already just applying for different jobs. But right now, as a student in public health, me and most of our classmates, we decided to join like a community or a club related to both public health community inside the university, and also another community related to oral health or dental school again. So some sort of just trying to do something related to our academic or our study.
Perfect, thank you. I think that shows that there are different opportunities available for postgraduate students. It's just a case of what your interest is in your time and balancing work with your studies. There will be, if there are any sort of different opportunities that come up within the university, they will be advertised within the various platforms that you access. And then again, if it's anything specific within your programme, if the academics that are involved in those opportunities, they will definitely share them with you too. So that covers off jobs, hopefully. And then in terms of accommodation, we've got a few questions about that. So there is actually an accommodation session running. I think there's actually one on just now. So if you're here, you obviously have me there. But I'm sure there's another one on this afternoon, and they might actually be recorded as well. And I do know that there's occasionally little pop-up Q&As that come up. So in terms of accommodation, what did you all decide to do? Are you with university accommodation, or did you look for private accommodation? Matthew, I know this might not apply to you. You might be able to travel. So let's start with you.
Yeah, so I am actually in university accommodation, but I applied a little bit late, so I was considering commuting from Edinburgh, which is like an hour by train, so would have been feasible too if I needed to. But yeah, it's something I definitely try and sort out before you arrive in Glasgow. It's tricky sometimes to get accommodation here for students.
Just on that note, actually, I will say that the applications for university accommodation have actually opened, so you can actually put your application in now, and it's a case of choosing your preferences. And there are some good tutorial videos online to sort of help you through those. Reem, what about yourself?
Okay, so basically using like the online university accommodation material was very easy and self-elaborating for me when I was like applying from back in Egypt. A little bit of stuff that you have to consider is the location of the accommodation. If you have like everyday sessions or something back to back in the university, you would rather to select an accommodation that near to the university. But mostly there is like multiple of transportation. You have the subway, you have the train, you have the buses, and they are all accessible and feasible somehow. But you need like to make like a proper financial planning to. This is something that you have to consider. There's other option, like some of my friends living together in some apartment and stuff. Maybe this is a bit tricky if you're an international student, so you will be able to like find people to live with, find the place, and check the place if it's like legit or not. But in general, university accommodation is so like trustworthy somehow. But it, as I have mentioned, it depends on lots of stuff.
Thank you. And Yasmina, what about yourself? Are you in university accommodation, or did you choose to go private?
Yeah, as an international student back to Egypt, I was just thinking about the university accommodation because it's like Reem has said, like it's trustworthy, it's more safe. You can just book it in easy way, but I just recommend for anyone, even they are international or not, you have two options to in the university accommodation or private accommodation, and both of them has advantage and disadvantage. But I recommend to have like to be in the city center, so you are near to subway station, train station, and even bus, and you are near to everything you need. Or in this part, if you have like little classes, it depends on your classes or your schedule. But if you are having many classes at the university, I recommend to be near to the university, even it's in private accommodation or the university accommodation, because before coming to here, I didn't know these stuff, or about the location, about the advantage and disadvantage, because if you are not in the city center or near to the university, it will be like it's not easy for you. And you have to consider, like Reem has said, the financial planning well, because many things will depend on it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Asta, what about yourself?
So my story is quite funny actually. I applied for accommodation quite late, and most of them were sold out, and the only ones that were left were quite expensive. So I had a senior that was living in a private accommodation, and I knew her from my university that I did undergrad in, and then she studied in University of Glasgow. So she sort of transferred her contract to me. So that's also one possibility you can consider if you have any seniors or people that you know who graduated, and you can ask them if they can transfer their room to you. And I live in a private accommodation, but it comes under student, which is one of the biggest student accommodation providers in the UK. So it's still quite safe, and all the bills are included. And you know, I feel like when you are looking for private accommodation, rather than going for independent flats with landlords, I would recommend going for flats that come under companies like Student Roost, because there's a lot of accountability involved. And if you're an international student and you only have 1 year, based on experiences that my friends have had, I would not recommend going for independent flats with independent landlords. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm actually really glad you said that, Asa, because that was going to be my next little banner along the bottom. So I have actually heard of current students saying that they'd contacted students that were studying the previous year, and like you said, they were able to recommend where they were staying. So you can actually connect with other students that are studying just now via UniBuddy, which you can find all the details on our website, and just inquire where they're staying, and they might be able to put you in touch with someone for help. But yeah, just like our panel have said, if you are thinking of using the student accommodation, do get your application in early, because there is always high demand for it. So let's just go back to our questions. They are coming through thick and fast. So there was one there about paying for your fees. So I know that if we've got scholarships and things like that, it's a bit different. But in terms of paying your fees, how have you found that? Are you able to break them up throughout your year, or is it lump sum? How have you managed that? Yasmina, we'll come to yourself.
I've learned that I have to search about anything by myself. So I started to search for different university, but especially for Glasgow University. So I just, as far as I remember, that I like filled a form or something related to my program, and then they sent me an email. Suddenly, I found this email about the scholarship, and I again started to search more about the scholarship, about the funding, about the if I am eligible for this program or not. So I found the British Council for Women in STEM scholarship, and it's fully funded scholarship provided by the university and the British Council. So I started to ask many questions to the admissions team, to the scholarships team, and really they were really helpful for me, because I think it was just the second year for this scholarship, but the first year for Egypt to be the eligible country for the scholarship at the university. And then I started to apply for the program and just follow the instructions and the application. And every time I struggle with anything, I just email the admissions team. And I found that there are different options in the website. Like you can chat on live chat with the admissions team, so you wouldn't have to wait for their response or reply for your email, although they really respond somehow quickly. So the second thing that I attended all live like this panel live, and they were really benefit for me. They were beneficial for me, and I could even reach or chat with the the scholarship lead, and I could found the or know about each detail about the scholarship. So at the end, I got the scholarship.
That's great, amazing. I'll jump down my screen.
Is there any
before we... Oh.
about that?
Sorry, Asta, I'll just jump down my screen before we lose you again. What about yourself in terms of your fees? Have you chose to sort of pay them all at once? Is there the option to kind of spread them across the year? Oh, that's a shame. It looks like such a good answer you're giving, but I can't hear you. We'll jump across. I'll just let you maybe try and reconnect your headphones there, Asta. Matthew, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I applied for a bunch of scholarships. I didn't get any of them, unfortunately. Fortunately, however, I've been sort of planning to do this since the first year of my undergrad, because I'm, like many of the panelists, I'm a medical student, but I've not finished my medical degree. I'm taking a year out in a process called intercalation to study at Glasgow. So thankfully, I've been, tutoring and working for quite a while to save up to pay for fees for this. So I pay it in installments, though.
Great. It's good to know that option is there, isn't it? That just gives you a
Yeah.
bit of peace of mind and a bit of flexibility. Asta, will we try your mic again?
Can you hear me now?
Hi. Yay.
Okay. So again, I was too late to apply for a scholarship, so don't do that. Apply on time. So I did not get any scholarships. So currently I'm self-funded, but I'm paying in installments. I'm paying in 8 installments, so that helps quite a bit. Even with taxes and stuff. So if you're from India, we have a new rule which says that you can't if you make international payments of more than 7 lakhs in one financial year, you sort of have to pay 20% tax. But if you pay in installments, it kind of gets divided in 2 years, and that would help quite a bit financially in general. So paying in installments is always a good option.
Thank you. I feel like whatever Asta done, don't do that. Apply early for your accommodation. Apply early for your scholarships. Early is always better. Reem, what about yourself?
So I'm funded by a scholarship too. So if I have an advice, because I have like huge history with like scholarships, I did a lot of research. Scholarships doesn't, most of the time, that doesn't mean it doesn't come from like the first trial, and sometimes not from the second trial. It might take quite a bit, but this was my only option to be able to study here, to be funded somehow. For me, if I'm like giving advice about scholarships, do your research, because there's plenty options of scholarships, and try to find like the specific university's scholarship, because there's like those governmental scholarships that have huge scholarships, which is so competitive, and sometimes you might feel bad about yourself when you're not accepted, but it's not about you. The competition is high, that's it. But all of us deserve a spot somehow. So don't take it personally. Like, maybe you'll be a little bit sad, but like overcome it quickly. It's not about you. The competition is high, and maybe the luck wasn't aligned with you at that time. Apply multiple times. Make someone from like the Excel alumni to revise your recommendation letters, motivation letters, and stuff. Prepare your papers all the time. You have your motivation letter, recommendation letter as a question answered, and save it in a good place like Drive or something, so you will be able to go there and update it all the time whenever you do something new. If you're coming from a background that the English is not your first language, I really recommend to go for someone for proofreading, because it makes difference to write the stuff in right English, right grammar, right structure, because it add on, especially when you're studying a postgrad degree. When you're starting to write your essays and stuff, those stuff will be so important. So you need to make sure that you're up to date with those edits. And as I have mentioned, apply multiple times. And some countries in the low and middle income countries provide governmental sponsorships. Maybe you can look for this. You won't find it online all the time. You need to ask like specific track in your government or something, or your education ministry maybe. Yeah, this is basically.
Thank you. I think that was really helpful from all of you. I think you're right. Research is really important. Take the time to sort of look into them. I've popped the URL for our scholarships and funding webpage up on the screen. There's a bit of a drop-down selection. You can pick where you're from, what you're studying, and it'll show the different scholarships, but that is not an exhaustive list. Like Green said, there are other ones out with the university that are offered. So we've covered scholarships, accommodation, jobs. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, I will say women in STEM, the eligibility changes every year, so you will find more information on our website about that and what the eligibility criteria is this time around. What else have we got here? There's one about sort of spending time in class. So we covered if they're online, offline. In terms of class time, how much are you in class versus how much is expected of you out with your classes? Ring, your mic's off. Why don't you go first?
Okay. Can you repeat the question? How much we spend in the class, right?
Yeah. How much is expected of you? How much teaching time in class versus what's expected of you out with class? Does that make sense? Or is that really weird?
Okay, so basically most of the classes aren't so long for me. Maximum was like 3 hours, but there's lots of intervals and breaks and interaction. So it's not like I have ADHD and I find it so hard to concentrate for a long time. So yeah, you're basically free to go anytime, but there's always like the lectures make into consideration to take like frequent breaks and stuff. And if you have specific any kind of accommodation or needs that it need to be considered, you can do that easily. I signed up with the disability service due to my ADHD, and there's some steps that makes me more comfortable in classes, and it's in my file. So like professors put it into consideration whenever we have classes. So this is something you should consider if you have something, any maintenance that will make you more comfortable during study. And outside of the class, this is okay all the time. You need to work all the time. I want to say differently, but I guess it's mainly when you're an international student, this is a new way of studying, new way of teaching, new environment, maybe new language for you. You're not used to study everything in English. So it takes a little bit time to accommodate for all of those stuff and get used to it. But I would recommend, from someone who has ADHD, so the stuff get all around the place and they get overwhelmed easily, you need to like be on top of the stuff and do proper time management and find time for self-care, for exploring UK, especially if you're an international student, you're here. You need to make the most out of the experience. It's not only about studying, right? To go around, to be part of societies. There's multiple amount of societies. You can check it on the website as a cover basically all type of interest. To go to the gym, we have wonderful gym in the university. All those stuff is adding on your quality of studying and grades and everything. So this is part of, you don't have to be studying to call yourself productive. When you take care of yourself, actually you are productive because it will reflect on the quality of the stuff you're doing. So it needs a lot of work out of the class, I admit that, but with a little bit, when you take your time to accommodate to everything happening and to like live or understand what is really happening and start to like do proper time management, you will have time to do a lot of stuff besides studying.
Thank you. And I think that is really important. It's the year of your life and it is such a big commitment to do. There's a lot of study, but yeah, try and enjoy yourself too. And if you're over, like, if you're not from Glasgow, do try and see Glasgow because it is really beautiful. And if you go a little bit out with, yeah, it is quite special.
And whenever there's sun, go out. Go
yeah, make the most of that sunshine.
You do whatever you're doing, leave it and go enjoy the sun. Because this is like an incident that rarely happens, so you need to like show a proper gratitude whenever there's sun out.
Yeah, do the sunshine dance. Yasmina, what about yourself? What have you found the split like? Is there a lot of work to do out with the class, like Reem said?
It's really totally different education system, and I took many time like to just tolerate the difference. But it's not just about the difference in the education system, it's the difference between study dentistry and just stay at my previous university the whole day. And now when I'm studying public health, it's I feel more comfortable than before. But what I really appreciate, it's about the dealing professors with us as international students, or even we are not international students. About the time of the lectures or classes, I really appreciate that they are dividing the classes into like they are 2 hours for each classes or lectures. They divide the lecture or the class into parts, like just 1 hour for teaching, and the other part or the second part for a discussion, for giving opportunity for the students to work together, to share their ideas together, to work together. So I feel like there is something, it's not just theoretical part, it's some sort of to be like like a discussion, or saying what you talking about your perspective, about your opinion. And even as a public health student, we have a whole building just for public health, global public health, mental global health. So we have this building just for us, and it's really equipped with everything you need, even kitchens in the building. So you can take a rest or a break at the same building. You have silence area for studying, area for studying with your friends or your classmates. So I feel like even it's not about the studying time or the time of the lecture or the classes, it's about when you finish or before or after your class or lecture, you need a place for studying or for in every student there. So there are different places, but I really interested in even the main library, I need to say something related to the university. They give you an option for going to another library of another university. So even I have this opportunity or this option when I tried for twice, maybe I found different vibes. I mean, the University of Glasgow has special vibes when you are going to the main library. Um, I don't know why, but really there's different vibes than any other libraries or other university in Glasgow, because I have tried this. But really, I found the library, the building that's related to the public health students, really interesting and really encourage you to relate it into the university or the vibe of studying together. So yeah, it helped me.
Thank you. Asta, what about yourself? How much study or how many hours classes do you have versus how much work outside of the classroom?
So it really depends on the course, but like the final thing is there's going to be a lot of work. So if you have less course time, so if there's only like 1 to 2 hours of classes a day, then you can assume that you're going to have to do a lot of self-study. But when it's labs, it would be like 5 to 6 hours of labs a day. But then there's not a lot of self-study other than writing the lab report. So it really depends. But as she said, there are a lot of good spaces on campus. My favorite is the JMS building because they have a lot of space and it's a good place to eat. Like there are a lot of like restaurants and cafes. And the best part is they have a lot of microwaves. And for the first time I saw it, I was really surprised because it looked like you were at a laundromat, but instead of the laundry machines, it's just a lot of like microwaves and you can like heat your food up and like if you live far from campus, you can be like well assured that if you're on campus, you'll survive, you'll be happy, you'll have food, you'll be taken care of. Yeah.
I love it. Priorities. Can I eat? Yes, I can. Matthew, what about yourself? How much work have you found there is for class versus out with class?
Again, pretty similar to Asta. So with like some weeks you'll have like labs all day, every day for the whole week. But by and large, there's a lot of lectures, but you only have like 1 or 2 a day. So you're kind of expected to use that time to read papers, to sort of, master the topic you're studying, I guess. Like a lot of my modules have had like a journal club type teaching. So where you have to study a paper, you find a paper, you critically appraise it, and then you have to sort of present it to other people and explain the sort of benefits and the flaws in the study.
Thank you. And I suppose it's worth saying, just connect with your peers in your classes, because you're all doing the same thing. You can help each other and learn from each other. And then if you do have any issues, do raise them with your academics because they are there to help and they want to see you succeed. I'm just looking at the time. We've got about 15 minutes left. So if there are any other questions about studying within the College of MBLS, student life, please do let us know. I think we've covered off most of them. So I'm going to be selfish and I'm going to ask a question. What's been your favourite part of your master's studies so far, or what are you most looking forward to? Because I know that for a lot of people, their project is the bit that they're really excited for. So yeah, so what's been the best part of your experience so far, and what are you most looking forward to? That's kind of 2 questions actually. Matthew, what about you?
So I really enjoyed like the first module I had actually in the first semester. It was engineering microenvironments. So essentially, instead of a sort of like a very rigorous sort of you must study for this exam, it was each lecture was from a different expert in the field. We got lots of different perspectives, and we got to put that together into like a nice essay at the end. So that's probably my favorite, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to the project. I've submitted my choices, so hopefully get something cool.
Yeah, that's the exciting bit, isn't it? Seeing what you get. Asta, what about yourself? What's been your favourite part so far?
For me, it was, my management sim, because my entire life has been very like STEM centered and, bio. And then suddenly our first semester was just management. And the marketing course was my favorite, surprisingly. I really liked, just studying something that was completely new and something so practical. Like our final assignment was to analyze the marketing strategy of Aldi, and I was just sitting reading tweets and like screenshotting stuff and like collecting news articles, and that was quite fun. And I'm looking forward to my project, and it's also kind of a jump in the dark because we have not been given our choices yet. I haven't picked anything. I'm just waiting for them to put out the list, so should be fun.
That must be really interesting, doing something quite with a science background and then something completely different. Just shifts the brain a bit, doesn't it? Yasmina, what about yourself? What's been your favourite part of your master's so far?
It's not just about the subjects and the program. Really, it's about my program lead, because from the first time when I just feeling confused or I have problems, I just go for my program lead, and she. You don't know how an international student may face many struggles or many problems specifically at the first of the year, at the beginning of the year. So every time I face anything, I just email them, and they just reply at the same time. I just send emails. Really important. And the dealing with the professor, as I've said before, as for my program and subjects. Um, um, the ability to choose optionals, modules or optional subjects is really amazing, because I could choose something related to my previous studying, like oral health, beside public health subjects. So it's really interesting, and it's not in different university in public health. Second thing, when I started to study statistics, although I know how much it's really important for any researcher or anyone want to, even for a dentist, to know about statistics. And the way we are studying this subject in different labs, and we can choose between two different programs like R or Stata. So I found that it's really important to be to have this subject. And even the way of our assignment, it's not just about assignments, about presentation. The first time for me to do a poster, yeah, we are need to know how to make a poster, maybe in different conferences, and even the opportunity to choose my project research, even it's related to public health or a specific part or related to dental public health, and they just really help you to choose what you exactly you need, and they help you to reach your goal. And even I'm like a little part related to our research project. It's about a conference related just for public health students, that we can share or to apply our or to present our presentations related to our program research, project research. So I'm really interested to attend this conference because it's not just about presenting our presentation together. No, it's about different sessions about career, about anything we are choosing by ourselves, or even related to emotional support, mental health. Even we can voting for different guests from different public health specialists. And the interesting part about the specialism in my program, I can choose to have a specialty or not. As for the specialty or specialism, there are different specialism like data science, epidemiology, health promotion. So I think there are different aspects in my programs really interesting for anyone.
Thank you. And Reem, what about yourself? What's been your favourite thing about your programme so far?
Okay, so on contrary of what expected, I really enjoyed the research methodology module because it's a bit complicated and it's challenging, and like the professor lead on that, he's so critical and he's so smart, so you feel all the times that you're challenged to do your best. And but coming from like a medical background, most of my knowledge about research is the randomized controlled trials and meta-analysis and stuff. I didn't know a lot about the qualitative studies, and I found it so interesting when I started to study it in the module of the research methodology. So this is something that was a bit interesting for me, and actually I'm looking forward to stuff. As Yasmin has mentioned, when we do our assignment coming in different formats, critical essays, blog posts, posters, and stuff. One of the assessments that coming up is doing a podcast, which is for me is so interesting because I used to do a podcast back in my home, and I feel like I have a big experience, so I need to get a good grades to feel good about myself in that, because it will hit me personally. So I'm looking forward to that podcast. And something else I'm looking forward today, we have a meeting with Dr. Tridor, as the general director of WHO, the World Health Organization. Today and I'm so excited about it, like a child excitement, because as I have mentioned, I used to be an intern with the UNFPA, and like the UN entities is something that I'm looking forward to work in the future. So I'm so excited about that.
That's great, thank you. That was a really a nice mix of answers there, and I think that's something that you have actually highlighted is the assessments throughout your course or your courses. They are different, and that will mean that you might not do so well in one, but you can then excel at another, and it's just really to suit different styles of learning, I suppose. So we've got 5 minutes left, so I think we finish on one question, and it's just if you could give a piece of advice to all our people that are on the stream just now, what would be your best piece of advice that you could give to them? Reem, we'll start with yourself.
For me, don't afraid to ask, because sometimes we feel a little bit shy or that we're so much or something. If you found someone who you know that he's doing or she's doing something that you want to do in the future, so basically feel free to ask. Take a consent and put into consideration their time and life and everything, but don't feel shy to ask. It's okay. We all have to start from some place, and at some point there's something that we don't know, so it's fine. Especially when it comes to postgrad, whenever we're getting older, we feel like we have to figure out everything on our own. No, we don't have to, so feel free to ask. Don't be afraid.
Thank you. And I think that goes in life in generally. If you don't know, ask, because there's always someone next to you who also is thinking the same thing. Matthew, what about yourself? Bit of advice for applicants?
I guess from my perspective, like I chose my course because I wanted to develop a very specific set of skills. I wanted to learn very specific things. So just making sure that when you apply for your course, you do your proper research on what modules the course is going to offer, and do those modules align with what you want to get out of it? That sort of thing, yeah. So I know some people who've picked one course, but maybe would have enjoyed a different course better had they read more into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a good bit of advice as well. And all our courses for the programmes are listed on the webpage, and you will get more information when it comes to sort of selecting your optional courses. So do attend those sessions that will be run. Yasmina, what about yourself? Any advice for current applicants applying to University of Glasgow?
Where anyone can apply, just go for it. But you have, as Rita said, like you have to ask, and I recommend to search well in the website of the university. You will find different options of services. This service you will really benefit from. So look, just search for live chat with any team you have to ask, send emails, search well, and even I recommend to search in LinkedIn, because this application is really important to look for any previous alumni or professors, or even information about the website or the accounts for the university on LinkedIn.
Perfect, thank you. Asta, what about you? Piece of advice for current applicants?
Adding on to what Yasmina said, I feel like connections are very important. Networking is very important because, especially as an international student, when you come here, you start with technically nothing, right? So building up this space is very important where you know people, because even though it might be a bit unfair, in STEM, networking gets you everywhere basically. So attend seminars, LinkedIn is very important. And again, don't be afraid, just go for it. You are in a new country, you are starting over. Sometimes you feel like, oh, no one cares, but then you can take it in a good way, like no one cares. You can just go for it. Whatever you want to do, just go for it. And text people, ask them for help, and connect to people on LinkedIn. If you are doing biotechnology or something similar, there is a company in Scotland called iBioC, and they host a lot of networking events and seminars and stuff in Glasgow and Edinburgh. You can attend that, and yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, and thanks to all of our panel. It's been so lovely to hear from you and for you to share your experience with myself and for all those that are watching today. The event is running all day today, so there are further sessions to come. We've got another MBLS session this afternoon, which is about PhDs within the College of MBLS. So if that's of interest, you'll find that on the event schedule, which is on your screen. And like I said, we have confirmed dates for most of our Ask Your Academic sessions, and you'll find those on the webpage that's on your screen now, and you can register for those, and that will give you the chance to speak with the academics involved in the programme that you're looking to study. So thanks very much for joining us, and to all our applicants that have been in the comment, good luck with your application, and we hope to see you all in September time. So thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.